everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to do a card today for you with one of the stamp sets that will be featured in September that will have dies with them. So right now you can get all of these stamp sets, but starting September 1st, they will have a die. So if you already have the stamp set, you can just add the die, or if you don't have them both, you can purchase them in September as a bundle and save 10%. So I am going to be using these three in my upcoming online retreat. If you've been watching my series, The Art of Stamping, that's what we'll be doing in the retreat. So normally my retreats have 12 cards. This time we're going to do 9 just because they're all a little bit more time intensive. Normally when I do a retreat, I throw in, a third of them are kind of quick. There's no way when you do the art of stamping that it can be kind of quick. So I'll explain a little bit more about the retreat as we go along. I did want to tell you too, if you are watching this and you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're gonna be coming to Indianapolis for Onstage, we have a pre-event on the Friday, and a little bit of the art of stamping. My project will definitely be art of stamping, and then the other girls that are doing it with me. It's gonna be a super fun event and a great way to kind of extend your stamping that weekend. So information about that is on my blog. And then registration for that is open as well. So the stamp sets that will be featured, this tutorial is already up. This one is Apple Harvest. So right now you can get Apple Harvest in the holiday catalog, or you can wait till September and you can add these dies. So this tutorial is already up. And then the one that's coming up soon will be Trimming the Tree. This is in the annual catalog. Right now there's no dies, but there are dies. When I chose the sets for my retreat, I wanted ones, like you could tell the first one, we're able to color it in and paint. This one, the embossing with the lights will be super fun. And then this one, you'll see today when I do it, Waterfall Canyon, it will allow us to layer some colors. And we'll be able to mix and match all these techniques during the retreat. So it's gonna be super fun. So we'll do 9 projects. There will be 3 cards with each set that will have video tutorials. And then at the end, probably after the retreat, like the week after, I will send you 3 photos of, maybe I'll do Waterfall Canyon and I'll do it with the Trimming the Tree supplies. So that way, if you didn't get all of the sets, or if you have like the mountains, you'll probably be able to do that. For all of these, there are things that you may already have that will work as well, but they're all super cool. Wait till you see, where did I put them? The dies that are available for this. I have the ones off that I'm using on today's card, and this is still how many the waterfall dies. So I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dies on today's card, and there's still this many dies left. So it's a really fun set, and I'm gonna I have a ton of ideas, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do these 3 cards. With this one, I may do one other card, but then I'm going to save all of my ideas because it's such a short time that they're available. They're gonna be on the retreat. So if you wanna see what I'm gonna do with the dies and these 3 sets, you're gonna have to sign up for the retreat. You can get the full package all the way down. If you're overseas, you can just get the video tutorials. So there are 3 different packages, or you can be on my team, and then you can get the videos for free, because the girls on my team always have access to my videos for free. So this time I am going to do my die cutting first, because I need a couple of things that I'll use. So this is the deckled rectangle. I love these. So here is kind of where I was with this. That one's got a butterfly remains on it. I have a ton of ideas, but this past Sunday, my husband, we had to call the ambulance again, and we went back to the hospital again. So we spent the whole day on Sunday in the hospital. So my Monday did, all of your Sunday things, the laundry, and I like pre-cooked some stuff for the week. So all of that happened yesterday. So by the time I came up here to design this card, I was kind of fresh out of creativity. My idea was that I wanted it to look like an old-time postcard. So I wanted it to be sepia, in black and white. And so I messed with that for a while, and our grays are just even smoky slate. It was too dark for what I wanted. So still gonna look like an old-time postcard, a little bit more of the painted tint because I couldn't get my original idea to work. He is fine currently. Same thing happened that happened last time, and they have no idea what it is. And somebody was supposed to call yesterday, because when you go to the ER on Sunday, there's not a lot of people there to assist you. So on this one, I am going to use the brushed metallic gold And this is when I wanted it to be a black and white card. I was using the silver foils. So I wasted a whole lot of die cuts, a whole lot of paper. I just kind of stamped forever. And sometimes the playing and the designing, when you've had a stressful day or week, you can kind of get lost in that. So I had a million things to do, but I was like, I am taking a little bit of time to lose myself in the stamping and come up with a card. And then when I was done, I had to send it to my daughter and ask if it was ugly. So here are 4 sets of trees, and it doesn't matter which of the golds out of the packet you do. There's a little bridge, and then this little piece right here is adorable, and it cuts 3 trees. So I'll run these through. So I did the first bunch, and then I did a second group of trees, and now I'm gonna do one more. So I have 3 groups of these little pine trees. The brushed metallic cardstock is still free this month. And you'll definitely want to get one of them if you don't get both, of the silver or the gold, because you'll be able to use those if you do the retreat later on. And then this folder is also one of the ones that is free. Now, when you do the retreat, you will need either the stamp sets or something similar, and then the dies or something similar. But anything that isn't in the bundles, like if I would use this timber, then that would be already done for you. So anything that is included in the class, then you do it yourself. If it's not included, I'll do it for you, or my husband, or my niece. I have assistants these days, but look how pretty that is. So again, if I can figure out a way to get it to be black and white. I think yesterday was not a great day to attempt something that I didn't really understand what I was doing. But and then here's all my dies, and we'll leave these in a minute. But I did all that first. Normally I do my die cutting second, but because I wanted my deckled rectangle cut out. So once you're doing your dies, if you know what your card's gonna look like, just go ahead and do them all. Now I'm gonna use the Stamparatus. And for this one, I am just going to place it right here in the middle, and then use my magnets enough to hold it, because there's not a ton of it. Now this set is, does it say on here? Maybe it's called reversibles. There's a name to our stamps that are like this. So the way they work is you can use both sides of them. So this side, you can feel it. It has the detail. This side just adds some color. So I want to do the color first. So I'm going to stick this on here. Color the flat side down, because that's where I want to start. This is my waterfall. Put that on here and then grab this. So I wanted this, and you guys, it looks green. So if you've seen the picture, you may think that I used green. I didn't. It's pool party, but it kind of, the techniques that I did kind of give it a green tinge. So I'm going to ink this up. And this is probably why it changes color. So ink this on here, but I wanted the sepia effect, right? Or like, you know, the old colors, like some old pictures. Some of my baby photos are like this, where they were black and white or the brownie white, and then they hand tinted over the top of them. So I'm going to take my blending brush, which you'll need one of these, but some of the packets include it. And I'm gonna kind of tap on it to just lift some of that off. And if I lift too much, then I'll just do it again. But I don't want it to be pool party. I just want it to have a tint. So we have this. And that's pretty good. If you don't take that off, then it's super strong. Now you're gonna take your stamp. You do need to clean these off, because if you, maybe not the first time, but if you use them too many times and this gets dirty or your plate gets dirty, then there's not enough stick left on it. So clean this side off, so when you go to stick it on there, it will stick. And you can use a chamois, except all of mine are pretty hard. And I meant to soak one overnight, because I have a tendency to leave them open. Now you're going to stamp with the etched side. So flip this back over. Lay this on here, etched side. And pool party is one of the colors that will continue to lighten as we go, so it does get a little lighter. So this is going to add the detail to our waterfall. So put that on there and then grab that. You need to make sure you press pretty hard, because it's wet. It may have some ink left on it, and you don't want it to fall off once you've inked everything. So I'm going to use basic gray, and then see if we need 1 or 2. I did 2 on the other one, partly because it's a photopolymer stamp and it's solid. So sometimes it has those little gaps of where the ink kind of bubbles up on it. But you know, with the Stamparatus, you can just keep going. That looks good. So now it's all nice and filled in. This is also a card where you're going to get a little dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off before I pick up gray ink. And then we're going to do the mountains. that are either side of our canyon. And again, we want to start with the smooth side, and these are a little bit of a puzzle. Take the solid side and then you line it up so it makes the canyon. There is a lot of leeway with this stamp set. And then again, the solid side, and you need it to make the, if you look at these points on this, that's the easiest way to know what you're doing on this one, because they point down. We've been to Iceland, and I'm for a retreat, I'm going to get one of our Iceland pictures, because this gives me that vibe. Put it on there. Make sure you got them so they don't fall off. And the nice thing with this project, as far as the Stamparatus, if it moves from the first to the second, it's okay, your paper, because you can see that I kind of put it on a different spot. Now I'm going to go with Sahara Sand. And I'm going to ink this, but I do most certainly don't want it that dark, because that is going to be way past tinted, and that would be Sahara Sand. So again, I'm going to take this and I'm going to thump off a lot of it. So it just has illusion of Sahara Sand. And then I'm going to drop this on here, and I'm barely going to press. And we can lift up and see if we like it. Yep, I like that, because doesn't that look like far away hills? And then wipe these off so they'll stick when you do the other side. And you need to do it first, because if you do it after you line up your stuff and they fall off, then it is going to mess up your card. So now when these flip, this one's going to go on the opposite side. So you can see this one right here is here, but when you flip it, it's going to go over here. And so now we have our etched sides. So you're putting those down. Just line those up. And then grab them. That's why they need to be clean, and so you'll know they'll stick. And then I'm going to do basic gray. So it's on here, and I've left it be spongy because it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to take my, I don't have a gray one of these, so one of them is going to have to be washed. And again, I'm going to take most of it off. I'll do this one first. So you can see that one as opposed to that one. This side, and then again I'm just going to drop it and lightly press. But if I need more, I can add more. You can't take it away, so if you put too much on, and you know when I do a video I tend to overcompensate because I'm talking. So this one needs a little bit more definition here. There we go. And then I'm just going to take this and kind of fill that in, and then we'll get a little bit of the Sahara Sand. We're just giving it some foresty, woods, dirt kind of look in the back. So it's not empty. We're going to cover that up with our tree, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But again, we're going for that tinted look. So that's good. So we're just about done with the stamping for this card. I'm going to take my pool party, which you can see now has a little bit of gray, but that's okay, or Sahara Sand, wherever I happen to get on this. And I'm just going to do the same thing and kind of fill in down here where there's water. So that's good. Actually, I want this right here to have a tiny bit more, and it's still on there. We haven't moved anything, hopefully. I'm going to take this one off, because I did take the magnet off. And I'm just going to push it right there. There we go. That was a little too gappy for me. So we've got this. Now we just have to put it all together. Now I use 2-way glue, or fine tip glue, I mean. This is a basic gray back, because it was laying here from when I thought I was doing a black and white card. And then we're gonna put this on top, and then we're gonna layer everything on here. But a couple of the pieces are a little bit long, so we will need to trim them, so don't put it on there yet. Just a little tip for you. These are tiny dies. They're not the tiniest dies that we have, because these days we have some tiny dies. I think it is to your advantage to always put them in something or away, or put them up before you keep going, because when you add all of this mess into it and you add a piece of paper that looks like that, they're easy to lose. So I'm gonna move those out of the way, and then we're gonna start putting this together. So let's start with the bridge. The bridge across the top. There is a stamp bridge, which I thought about embossing, and maybe in the art of stamping class we would add one more step to this card, but you could emboss that, or you can just use this cute little cut one. And again, these are the 3 colors in the brushed metallic, the gold brushstroke gold. Now I can't even think of the name. It's early. Now this one goes on one side and the other one goes on the other side. It's kind of up to you. And you can see where these are overhanging, so I'm going to trim them. And see a little bit where my water came up too high. It's okay. You just fix it with that. And I still have not, well, you haven't watched, I filmed yesterday, but there were going to be all videos that post while I'm in New Orleans. So yesterday I told you, I hadn't put up stuff from camp. I still haven't. So all of my scissors are not on the table. So I'm using beautiful ones that my friend got me. You'll hear me say that again later. I don't like to film out of order. It drives me insane. Because I'm like, I don't know what I already said. So got those. And you can see they're peeling up a little bit, but I have a tip for you. Now we're going to start with some of these trees. You might not need them all. You may. It's just kind of how you want to do it. So I'm going to put the bigger ones towards the front here and just kind of squish them down. And then these little trees right here will kind of do, see this line right here? It is kind of the edge of one of the canyons. So these just kind of line up with that, and it helps give that illusion. And then where it's going underneath it is either more trees showing, or it is like reflecting in the lake, or you can cover it up. Those are just so cute. They're such cute little dies. I got that on there pretty straight. Because if you don't, just trim that off. But mine's going to be on there pretty good. So I have a tree here. And you can see they're moving. It's okay. Another size here. And you're just doing a forest. And again, the trees can kind of go into the water if you want. Because in nature, you would see those from far. Now I'm going to take one of these tiny little trees. Up here so it's more up in the, and do the same over here. So I think these colors are okay. It wasn't what was in my head, and you know, sometimes you try to make it work with what's in your head, but you can see how dark those grays are, and even the smoky slate was so dark that taking the color off, it was too dark. And it was raining outside, and it was, you know, I was trying to recoup from drama of life. So maybe I just wasn't feeling the gray as well. I guess I am going to use all of these this time. So you can see as you just kind of layer them over the top of each other. It would be fun if you could use dimensionals, but these are tiny, so you'd have a hard time getting them to fit. And then I realized I'm going for a photograph kind of feel, or an old picture. And those wouldn't have things popped up off of it, right? Where do we want to put this one? It's a baby tree. We're going to fill in this gap right here. So you can see everything's still kind of moving, right? Because you don't want to put a lot of glue on this. So then I just take my large block. And the nice thing about using a clear block is that when you lay it on here and let everything set, if anything moved, you can see it. So I would put this on here, but I'm going to use it again. So let's mount this over here. And it just takes a second for it to set on there. I'm going to use Seal Plus because foil is a little bit tricky. You can see it's, the back of it has a coating that sometimes will peel up with regular seal. And because this has been embossed, it's also rolling. So I'm just going to do a rectangle of this. You don't even need it in the middle. Now here's another thing. If you don't want to waste paper, take this either before or after, and not this deckled, but the one that's a size under it. Cut that out of the middle of your paper, and then when you stick our scene over in a minute, if it was one smaller, you won't even know that that's all missing, and then you'll have a whole piece there. I got more important things to get to today, so I'm not going to take the time to do that. Now when you use the Seal Plus, you need to make sure that when you put it on there, it's where you want it to be, because there's no moving it. The foil does come up a little bit easier because it's got that slick coating on it. So if you haven't pressed on the Seal Plus, you can usually kind of peel it back off. Now we'll lift this up, and look, everything's stuck. It doesn't take very long at all for it to sit, but I don't want to flip it over because I don't want to lose anything while it's still drying. So I'm just going to put my Seal Plus on here. Now this, I don't have any embellishments on this card. I don't have any ribbon because it doesn't really need it. But there was one thing when I was done, because it's about done, and you could stop here, but I just wanted the water to look a little bit different than the mountains and the trees, because now our trees are kind of 3D-ish and our waterfall has sunk behind. So if you use fine tip glue, it is kind of like what our crystal effects used to be, and it will dry clear. So I'm gonna make, and this one's almost gone. I'm gonna have water go down the waterfall, and it will dry clear and it will dry shiny. And then down here, I'll do this and fast forward it. Down here, kind of give it ripples. So I've just squirted this on here, and then on the ones up here, because you can make this dry so it has a nice glass kind of feel to it. On this one, I want it to have a water feel, and you know, water's moving. So I just squirted it on here, and then this one's I'm going this way, and this one I'm going that way. And it takes, depending on how much you put on there, it'll take a little bit of time to dry. So here's my other one. And you can see the pool party does get lighter as it dries, so it gives a lighter effect. Hopefully you can see that. Go to my website and I'll take some up-close photos of this project so you'll be able to see how that looks. Got a little bit more on this one because, you know, it's video. You can tell I got a little bit more of the pool party, a little bit more of the mountains. So use a lighter touch if you like the lighter look, or go that way if you like that one. So if you're interested in signing up for my online retreat, head to my website. If you're on my email, then you'll get all the information. So when you go to my website, there's a pop-up and you can sign up for my email there. And come back in a couple of days and I will have the sample for trimming the tree. And then you can, I know some of you have told me that you're waiting to see all three of them, see if you want all of them. So that's fine. You have till the end of the month to sign up, and I'll send you a couple of reminders via email. Everybody have a great one. Bye.